the car industry in Germany, the big companies are currently undergoing an interesting development, and I just want to put together some angles that are putting their weight onto this right now. We have the big change from companies that develop electric cars and the competition there about electric and fuel cars. Then on top of that, we have the political spectrum that is putting pressure on fuel car, internal combustion engine cars, ICE cars, to become cleaner, or even in case of diesel to stop production all along. And probably I think there are also already ideas to get rid of internal combustion engine cars all along. If the right people, if the right people or the left people are in the government. On top of that, increasing competition also from China, and let's see what is there. So we have the change from different car models, from different concepts of a car. People were looking at electric cars always as something that is very exotic, something that is not really viable. They had problems, they were imagining problems with fueling up the car, charging up the car, and the good old range anxiety. They were worrying about, it will run out of electricity, and what then electricity might also be dangerous and might explode like one of those Galaxy smartphones, but scaled up by a factor of 100. So they weren't really know what to expect under electric car, and then what they got from the German electric car manufacturers were quite dissatisfying. I would say carefully. They got some kind of Lupo electric car, or some low power short range city car that wasn't really interesting anyone. Like anyone that is looking at buying a nice car is either very utility or something that is fun, and fun then mostly means like a lot of horsepower. If you want to have a car and you look for prestigious cars, they have a lot of horsepower, they have sport steering, they are high value, and they are fast, and only students or people that have not much money then go for the smaller cars, Lupo, or also people that say, I live in the city, I don't want to pay a lot of money, so it doesn't have to be that they don't have much money, but more that they don't want to spend much money on it. They think economically, and so they buy some kind of 3-liter Lupo. So there was this Lupo, the small VW car with just 3-liter, basically on 100 kilometer. I don't know what that is in miles per gallon, but it must be around 130 or something, 130 kilometers per gallon, and it's like, I don't know. So basically what they then did, they got like the small car and electrified it, but then because it was very low numbers, so in mass production you want to produce a lot so that you can distribute the fixed costs over all the different cars and sell a lot of them. But if you of course produce not so much, then the price increase. So you had like a car in a segment that is more for people that want to save money, but then for an exclusive, pretty exclusive price. So that means that the request was pretty low, and also people were looking at like, what is that? I don't really have any idea what to use it. It's too expensive, and if I really want to use it, then it doesn't have any range. It has problems with charging. It was just a car. There wasn't a charging network or something, or infrastructure. You charge it maybe through your house power plug, and then it takes a whole night to charge up. So there's only so far that you can come in the day. That all on top then brought basically this idea for most people. I can imagine that an electric car is something weak. It's something that is not really fast, cannot get far, and it looks maybe also weird. So they had some designs there that were a little bit sketchy, not really attractive. And yeah, that's basically all points where then Tesla came in, I have to say, and they built a car that is fun to drive, that looks good, which is taste. So you may disagree if you want. And they also thought about all around the car, that you have the infrastructure, you have your phone to control the car, you have the charging network, so that you don't have to worry about range anxiety. They have the updates over the cloud, so you know that your car is improving without doing anything. And of course, because electric car, you have also very low maintenance. So that is now going to the one thing that people now change their perception from this weak and boring car to now something that actually fun, looks good, and like that can like go along with the M3 BMW, or with a nice Mercedes maybe might be an alternative for that. Very expensive still, but yeah, of course now with the now models price goes down. But from the expectants, they now see that, hey, actually electric cars could be something very interesting, and maybe in the next years they come up with something nice that is better. And now we come to the point where basically they are in this position where they say, okay, if I buy a new car, I might not really need to buy a new car now, and if I wait, there will be maybe an electric car that is really nice. So I will wait a little bit longer until I get a car that I like, and I won't also not buy an internal combustion engine car. So now the internal combustion engine car companies will have a very strong decrease in sales until they come with electric cars, and then those electric cars also have to fit to the imaginations of their future clients, of future customers, so that they can actually sell a lot of them to and fulfill their problems and fulfill their needs. So it could actually be that the car companies get a bit starved out until they come actually up with something like this, because you can imagine changing your production from ICE to electric means lots of investments. And now we come to the second part, is basically the outlawing from diesel engines, which is already a big hit to the car manufacturers. There are companies, suppliers. So if you don't know, in Germany you have the car companies, and they have lots of production outsourced, and also other things in the company. They basically are an assembler, and the assembly itself is then from another company that they buy. They have someone else so they outsourced a lot of the know-how, something that Tesla is not doing. They do all in vertical integration, if I recall correctly. So there was a car company, car supplier for the production line that couldn't go on. He didn't have enough money, so they didn't have any money to invest, because the car companies, there was what was it, a debate or something? No, not a debate. There were internal price adjustments in between the car companies, and they were like saying, oh, we press a price and we can get all cheaper prices by the suppliers. So the suppliers had a hard time to play out the car companies against each other. So the suppliers were first fighting against each other, competing with each other, not fighting, not really fighting, but they were competing against each other to supply their car seats or radios, whatever, to the car suppliers, and they couldn't also not really outmaneuver the car suppliers by just selling their products to another car supplier for a better price, because there were internal dealings and they were actually telling each other what to demand, what the prices are. So there were like some schemy things going on. And yeah, this now goes to that the suppliers are weakened, and with the suppliers then having problems, then automatically the cars production companies also have problems. So this will be difficult for them as well to deal with. So the politics then go to banning diesel cars, so there's less money to make for them for the to make the switch from ICE to electric, if they even were willing and said, okay, we now do this as fast as possible, then they would still have a lot of problems, because they wouldn't be able to make so much money to make up for that. So they have to take on a lot of credits, or definitely a valley of tears, or a dark valley that they have to go through there. So, and top point 3 is then also that German car manufacturers are dealing with a lot of competition. They were selling many cars in China when the Chinese were switching from their bicycles to cars, and now they were switching to electric scooters, and now also a lot to electric cars. So the Chinese are now coming up with many car companies that are now locally in China competing with foreign car companies, and this will also make it hard for German car companies to sell cars there, and not having access, or not being able to, or how to say, to not be able to bring products into such a big markets means also another big decrease in profits, and that makes it hard for them to adapt and then make a turn to a new modern product, be it electric, be it hybrid, or whatever they see. So, and then you can also, then you have the point 3, and point 4 is that from the concept that the car manufacturers have is all focused on the car. They have not come up with any concept for the infrastructure for electric cars with the charging stations, because they're on top, of course, the politics make it difficult. They came up with different laws how a charging station has to work and operate, so this limits creativity for the car suppliers to make a perfect match for the charging station and the electric car. Maybe team up with other car suppliers and make a solution that actually helps people. Yeah, all this together looks like a very hard time for car suppliers. So I hope for those that work in those industries, that are very smart people. I worked in it for a year, and I know that those engineers are very smart, are very hardworking, and I know that they will get through it somehow, but it will be rough for them, but probably more rough for the car companies and those that build their whole career on them. It might be some kind of turmoil. So let's hope that it turns out well for the people, and yeah, that it doesn't get, that this turmoil doesn't get hold out on their backs. Yeah, okay.